Are you renting a home or apartment in 2026? Then this could save you thousands of dollars. Many renters believe their landlord's insurance protects their belongings, but that's simply not true. Renter's insurance can help cover stolen items, fire damage, temporary living expenses, and even liability claims if someone gets injured in your home. The good news? Top-rated companies like ACA and State Farm offer affordable coverage with valuable discounts. Before choosing a policy, compare coverage limits, document your belongings, and understand exactly what's included. A small monthly payment today could protect you from a major financial loss tomorrow. Let's discover the best renters insurance companies of 2026.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we are taking a surprisingly interesting look into the realities of renters insurance, which, let's be honest, is completely misunderstood by most people. We're going to break down the exact coverage you actually need, how you can unlock some seriously big discounts, and a few pro tips for surviving a claim. And to help us picture all of this, we'll be following the adventures and, well, the occasional misadventures of our totally hypothetical, accident-prone tenant, Stickman Steve.
Okay, let's just bust the biggest myth right out of the gate. The idea that this kind of protection is going to break the bank. $15. That is the average monthly cost of a renter's insurance policy in the US, according to the data. I mean, for less than the price of a couple of fancy lattes, you are fundamentally shielding your entire financial future. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the basics, then venture into roommates and travel, tackle actual value versus replacement, move on to scoring big discounts, and finally, arm you with some pro claims tips. All right, section 1, the basics. Here is the absolute golden rule you have to remember. Your landlord's insurance only covers the building itself, basically the physical box you live in. But absolutely everything inside that box, yeah, that is entirely on you.
So to protect what's inside, we've got what the industry calls the big three coverages. First up, personal property. Imagine Stickman Steve accidentally burns down his kitchen. This covers his laptop, his clothes, his couch. Second is loss of use, or ALE. If Steve's place is totally unlivable because of that fire, this pays for his hotel and extra food. And third, personal liability. Say Steve's friend slips on his living room rug and breaks an ankle, this steps in for the medical bills and legal fees so Steve doesn't get sued out of existence. Let's look at how this builds when we run the actual numbers. Money Geek data shows exactly how much protection you get for your dollar, and it's pretty wild. Look at that baseline. 20 grand in property and 100 grand in liability protection is about 15 bucks a month. But here's the kicker. If you bump that up to protect $50,000 worth of stuff, your premium only goes up to 26 bucks a month. The value scale here is just heavily weighted in your favor. It is incredibly cheap to properly insure your life. Moving right along to section 2, roommates and traveling thefts. Let's talk about the messy, real-world side of renting. You know, you aren't just living in a bubble. You're sharing spaces, you're dragging your stuff out into the world. Both of those scenarios introduce some really unique risks for our buddy Steve. Did you know a massive 32% of 18 to 34-year-olds rent with roommates? That is literally millions of people navigating shared living spaces. And hey, splitting the rent makes perfect sense, right? But splitting your insurance policy with those roommates? No way. That is a very bad idea. Let's say Steve shares his apartment with roommate Rick. If they share a policy, they're splitting one single coverage limit. And it gets worse. If Rick files a claim because, I don't know, he spilled coffee all over his own gaming console, that claim goes on Steve's permanent insurance record. That's gonna hike up his future premiums. Having an individual policy means you keep your full limits, your own spotless claims record, and total independent control over your coverage. Having your own policy also actively protects you from your roommates through a process called subrogation. I know, it sounds like a scary legal word, but it's actually your best friend. Let's say roommate Rick accidentally starts a fire that completely ruins Steve's stuff. With an individual policy, Steve's insurance pays Steve immediately. Done. Then his insurance company handles the awkward, messy legal fight of getting that money back from Rick. You don't have to drag your roommate to small claims court. Your insurance does all the heavy lifting for you. Now, what happens when you actually leave your apartment? Whether you're traveling or using a storage unit, your policy actually still covers your belongings if they're stolen. But, and this is a big but, you've got to know that the payout for off-premises theft is almost always capped at 10% of your total property limit. So if you have 20 grand in overall coverage, you've only got 2 grand covering your stuff while you're away on vacation. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, section 3, actual value versus replacement. This is arguably the most critical and definitely the most misunderstood choice you have to make when you buy a policy.
There is a huge, stark contrast here. Actual cash value factors in depreciation. Basically, it pays you what your used, beat-up item was worth the exact second before it was destroyed. Replacement costs, though, that pays you what it actually costs to walk into a store today and buy a brand new equivalent item off the shelf.
Let's ground this in a real, incredibly painful scenario. Steve's apartment floods, and his 3-year-old laptop is toast. If he chose actual cash value just to save, like, $2 a month, the insurer says, well, a used 3-year-old laptop is worth $300. Here's your check. But Steve needs a laptop for work, and a new one costs $800. He is $500 short out of pocket. If he just selected replacement cost, the insurer cuts a check for the full $800 to make him whole. Seriously, guys, always opt for replacement cost.
Section 4, how to score big discounts. All right, we're shifting into rapid-fire, money-saving mode. Renter's insurance is cheap, sure, but insurers actually offer a surprising number of little levers you can pull to drive that premium down even further. Here are the top proven ways to slash your bill. Picture Steve proudly holding up a new smoke detector. Insurance companies absolutely love risk reduction. Installing deadbolts, burglar alarms, or living in a gated community? Discount. Been smoke-free for 2 years? Bam, non-smoker discount. Bundling your renter's policy with your car insurance is usually the biggest single discount you can get. Even simple administrative stuff like paying your whole year up front or just clicking the paperless billing box will instantly shave dollars off your final price. Finally, Section 5, pro tips for filing claims. We are bringing it all home right now because having a great policy is one thing, but surviving the actual claims process after a disaster strikes, that takes a little bit of savvy. The absolute first thing you need to find the moment a disaster happens is your declarations page, or the deck page. Think of this as your ultimate coverage cheat sheet. Instead of digging through 50 pages of dense legal jargon, you look right here to instantly verify your maximum limits, your liability, and, crucially, what your deductible is before you even file.
When it is time to actually file that claim, you want to follow these exact steps recommended by consumer advocacy groups like United Policyholders. First, get your photos in an inventory of everything lost. Second, if it was a theft, always file a police report right away. It speeds up the insurance claim immensely. Third, and this is a huge pro tip, ask your insurer for a cash advance on your additional living expenses so you aren't paying out of pocket for a hotel while you wait for the claim. And fourth, remember that a claim is just a business negotiation. You absolutely have the right to politely advocate for a fair payout.
So I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. Look around your living room right now, your bedroom, your closet. If disaster struck tomorrow, could you honestly list every single thing you own entirely from memory? Yeah, most of us can't. That's why your homework today is to grab your phone, take a slow video walking through your place, open the drawers, open the closets, and save that video to the cloud. Document your life today, get a solid policy in place, and rest easy. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.